Hello friends, Porsche after a measuring teaser company has finally introduced a major update for the current third generation Cayenne. Admit there are so many changes in this update that it pulls the name of the new generation. Although this is not so, but let's talk about everything in more detail. The first thing that catches your eye when you look at the updated Cayenne. This is a new LED optics. It is now available in the base, but for a surcharge, you can order cooler LED HD matrix headlights, thanks to two high-definition modules that can accommodate more than 32,000 pixels per headlight. Cayenne gives its owner a new opportunity to illuminate the roadway with a bunch of smart chips. The stern also got a new three-dimensional optics, and depending on the version of the crossover you choose, you will either have a twin-barrel or four-barrel exhaust system and a neat spoiler on the trunk lid. From now on, the Cayenne is available in 3 new body colors and a whole family of rims from 20 to 22 inches. The choice of configuration also affects the body kit that will be used specifically in your case. The base Cayenne looks like the simplest of the family, while the T-Turbo GT can offer a unique rear diffuser and carbon fiber lip at the front and looks like a real spaceship. The interior, the second most important part that has been updated in the Cayenne, and here the change is even more radical. Firstly, Porsche has introduced a completely different air quality control system into the new Cayenne, based on navigation data and the environment in which the car is currently located, and secondly, the novelty has received a completely new interior architecture. In some ways it is similar to that what the company uses in the current Porsche Taycan. Even the most basic configuration offers a fully digital instrument panel with a diagonal of 12 inches and 6/10 of inches. It is curved in the same way as in the electric Taycan. And her assistants added a touchscreen with a diagonal of 12 whole and 3 inches to access the main functions of the car, which also includes apps like Spotify and Apple Music. This is the first rudiments of a full-fledged application store, which will later be integrated into the new Cayenne, so that the front passenger can also take advantage of all the delights of the new operating system. A separate touchscreen display with a diagonal of 10 whole and 9/10 of inches was developed for it. It can be used for informational and entertainment purposes, or to display a navigation bar and act as a navigator. For the Turbo GT, this is generally a cool feature. These are far from all the innovations for the salon that are available. The company also offers several new trim options, premier acoustics, redesigned climate control and new seat. Add here a huge list of additional equipment and get a huge variability in creating your own unique interior. If you think that this is all, you are deeply mistaken. On this update for the new Cayenne, they don't end, they just start. The company's engineers decided to go even further and worked with the suspension of their best-selling product. Cayenne offers a steel suspension as standard equipment, including a new shock absorption with a 2-valve system. If this is not enough for you, you can order a pneumatic adaptive 2-chamber suspension for an additional fee. Previously, a 3-chamber pneuma was used, but the engineers decided that the 2-chamber version was more optimal for the character of the Cayenne. This suspension is available as a base option on the flagship Turbo GT in itself. Such changes have radically affected the behavior of the car on the road. The company assures that thanks to the new adaptive air suspension, driving precision and performance is increased and the stability of the crossover is increased in dynamic situations. Well, now we got to the most interesting, power units. The base of the new Cayenne offers a 3-liter turbocharged V6. The engine has been modified and now it produces 353 horsepower and 500 Nm of torque. This is 13 forces and 50 Nm more than it was in pre-restyling. The same engine is used in both the hybrid Cayenne and hybrid. Combined with a new electric motor that now produces 176 horsepower, the total output of this power plant has increased to 470 horsepower. In addition, the engineers equipped the hybrid Cayenne with new high-voltage batteries with an increased capacity of 25.9 kWh. Earlier, the option for 17-hole and 9/10 of a kWh was used here. Now the crossover is able to travel almost 90 km on one electric traction and, thanks to a new onboard charger with a capacity of 11 kilowatts, is able to fully replenish the charge in 2.5 hours. But the most serial update, my opinion, was the intermediate Cayenne S. Earlier, this modification offered a turbocharged V6. Now it has been replaced by a 4-liter B-turbo V8 with 474 horsepower and 600 Nm of torque. This is 34 forces and 50 Nm of torque more than the progenitor. The first 100 Cayenne exchanges in 4-hole and 7/10 of a second. And the maximum speed is an impressive 273 km/h. The flagship of the line still remains the Cayenne Turbo GT. It is focused on maximum performance on the road and is still the fastest modification of the Cayenne line. The Turbo GT is available exclusively as a coupe and comes standard with adaptive air suspension, a fully steerable chassis, carbon ceramic brakes and a titanium exhaust system. But the most important thing is a modified 4-liter twin-turbo V8. Its power has been increased by as much as 19 horsepower and now stands at 659 horsepower and 850 Nm of torque. This is enough for the Cayenne Turbo GT to exchange the first 100 in 3-hole and 3/10 of a second, and its top speed is 305 km/h. You will probably ask why the power of the Turbo GT has increased and the dynamic performance has remained the same. The thing is that the updated Cayenne has become a little heavier, as a result of which it was necessary to increase the power of the power units in order to compensate for this excess mass and thus not get, on the contrary, lower dynamics compared to the door style. Well, now the prices. For the base Cayenne, the company asks for $80. Age 50, but the top-end Cayenne Turbo GT is available for $197,950. Let me remind you, this is the basic version of the model, and this cost can be easily increased by adding a few options, while Porsche has very expensive options. Friends, that's all for today. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel so as not to miss new videos. Good luck to everyone and see you soon.